before I start this creepypasta, I want to give out a major trigger warning for mentions and depictions of suicide. If you are triggered by topics such as this, please leave this video or watch at your own risk. Thank you. Hey guys, it's Ellie. Me and the entire group of our Home Movies Lost Episode saga are typing this post, so I'll leave it to Jenny to type our latest and, frankly, most sickening find. Thanks, Ellie. So me and the guys were on a group call when someone on Discord had messaged me with not one, but two videos. One was an interview with Brendan Small, and the second was a Home Movies episode titled, That's a Wrap. The sender told me that they had worked for Soup to Nuts and said that there was initially going to be a 5th season of Home Movies, but Adult Swim never greenlit it due to Brendan wanting to dive into more serious subject matter in the show. The network said it would be a better idea that he'd keep the darker nature of the show with his new project, Metalocalypse. We were a bit skeptical, but downloaded both videos anyway. Now we tell you the tragic tale of That's a Wrap. M. We opened to the usual TV set logo, but the screen was broken and the Home Movies text flickered to Brendan with his eye sockets just plain black with blood dripping out of them. It then cut to black before cutting to Coach McGurk bringing home a pizza and some chicken strips. The coach then looked at us, the audience. I know it's out of the ordinary for us to talk to you guys tuning in at home, but just thought I'd document what's been going on recently. We fade to a very underweight Brendan. He was so skinny that you could see every bone in his body. McGurk then began to narrate the following. Brendan's been taking his mom's death pretty hard. He refuses to eat, barely sleeps, and doesn't make his stupid little movies anymore, McGurk said. But I'm gonna change that. I brought him a pizza and chicken strips to hopefully raise his spirits. He then parked the car in the driveway and carried the pizza in. Brendan, come downstairs, I got you a little something. Brendan stumbled down the stairs and looked up at his now, quote, guardian with big bloodshot eyes. Come on, kid, I got you a pizza, your favorite, McGurk said, putting a slice on a plate. Thanks, I appreciate it. Brendan cracked a smile and started eating. Want some strips too, kid? The coach asked, opening a box of chicken strips. Sure, why not? Brendan replied as he dug into his food. The scene continued on to McGurk and Brendan talking about their day and how it had been going so far. This scene was particularly charming and kind of pulled at the heartstrings since McGurk actually treats Brendan like his own son rather than some kid on the soccer team. Maybe you should call your homies and make a movie together, McGurk commented. You guys haven't hung out in a while. Brendan thought about it for a bit before nodding his head. Yeah, you know what? I think I know just what to make, Brendan replied before excusing himself from the table. Our next clip cut to the basement with Brendan typing on his laptop while the rest of the cast piled in. Oh my god, Brendan, what the hell happened to you? Melissa gasped, looking at her friend's horrifying state. Yeah, I gotta agree with Melissa, dude. You look way too fit. And that's coming from someone as overweight as me, Jason chimed in. Guys, I'm fine. I've just been a little under the weather, Brendan sighed. Now, let's get to making our movie, shall we? He cheered, stepping out of his chair. It then faded to Melissa and Jason looking over their scripts with their most terrified expressions. Brendan? Are you sure we should be doing this? I mean, we've already been through enough with Jason's script, Melissa stuttered. Jason rolled his eyes and muttered, I tried my best. Brendan grabbed his clapperboard and yelled, And action! We were treated to the group reenacting the events of McGurk's Revenge for the next few scenes, some of them having flashing lights and the use of fake blood, before cutting to Brendan and his friends finishing up what they've recorded. Thanks for helping me out, guys. I knew I could count on you like always. Brendan sniffled as tears filled his eyes. Melissa then grabbed Brendan's hand. Are you okay, Brendan? You really haven't been yourself since your mother's passing. Melissa asked while her friend was trying to keep it together. Thanks for your concern, Melissa, but I'll be fine. I just need to get over it at my own pace. Brendan then walked upstairs while Jason and Melissa stayed silent in the basement. Our second and final scene opened with Brendan setting his camera on his dresser for a presumably final scene in his movie he was making. He turned the camera on and stood on top of a chair. Hey guys, Brendan here. So, what you saw in that movie was based off real-life events. My mom was killed by my teacher, who later died of a drug overdose. I want to thank everyone who's been tuning in to every movie I've made the past few years. But I think this chapter has come to an end. And with that I say, that's a wrap. Brendan then jumped off his chair and tied a rope around his neck. I bet you all know where this is going. The last scene began with a still image of everyone attending Brendan's funeral, before fading to McGurk giving the eulogy. Brendan was a great kid. Sure, a lot of the times I'd treat him like utter shit, but that was only out of pure sarcasm. Ever since Paula's divorce, I've tried to be there for the kid since his father has been very busy with his job and wife to see his son often. And I'll tell ya, I enjoyed every second. When Brendan did get to see his father, I'd be happy to see him happy. After what happened to his mother, I decided to become a full-time father and a coach. I mean, you can be both, right? I really wanted the best for him, and I should have noticed his cry for help sooner. May he rest in peace, and know that he's reunited with his mother. And, that kid who would help him with music. I can't remember his name, sorry. McGurk spoke before walking off stage. A lot of the home movies cast stayed there in silence before it faded to the child characters standing by Brendan's grave. Melissa was sobbing uncontrollably, and Jason was standing beside his friend. Shannon walked over with his two brothers, Mickey and Sean, who haven't been seen since the episode Art of the Sucker Punch. You know, guys, I seem like the last person to ever say this, but I wish Brendan could have realized we were all there for him, myself included. I wish his mom didn't have to die and deeply affect his health, the bully said, starting to tear up. And I especially wish that he didn't have to die like this. He then got onto his knees and started crying. We know, Shannon. We know, Melissa whispered, placing her hand on his back. She then looked up at the sky. Brendan, if you're hearing this, please know that we will continue your legacy. We will keep making movies as long as we live, and we'll forever miss you. She closed her eyes as a tear fell onto the grave. The credits then began to roll with the song Brendan's Camera playing. At the end, it provided a number to a suicide prevention hotline. Before we could close the tab, an after-credits scene rolled, with Brendan appearing from his grave. He sported a halo and wings this time around, probably to add to the theme. He looked around to see his friends mourning the loss of someone they deeply cared for. He then looked at all of them and whispered, "It'll be okay. I may be gone, but I certainly won't be leaving you all. And I certainly won't be forgotten." He then faded away before cutting to the heavens, where we were treated to a rather tear-jerking scene of Brendan reuniting with his mom. Then the episode abruptly ended. Oh, lordy. This one was awful. Like, I appreciate the team touching on the topic of suicide and mental illness in general, but we're all honestly kind of split on this one. Sure, we all agree this one was the darkest of them all, but we really gotta give Brendan Small some credit here for diving into a deeper issue like this. So we all watched the interview with Small about his plans for Season 5. Brendan claimed that he had at least 10 of the extended 20-episode order. Adult Swim was going to order even more episodes if the ratings were good enough. Of course, they didn't like the way the episode depicted suicide and canceled Season 5 of Home Movies altogether. We're planning on taking a short hiatus from reviewing or discovering lost episodes for the time being. But we'll be back next year with another batch sometime soon. Thank you for supporting us the past year and Thanks for supporting us in the past year and a half on all of this. It means the world to us. Jennifer Hawkins, Ellie Novak, Robert Brady, and M.